to marriage ministry, again, of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. And you know us, you know who we are. We're the Benards, and again, Reverend James Benard and Sister Angela Benard, and we're actually on vacation. But because of us being devoted, that's the word I'm looking for, devoted to what we have been asked to do, we are being devoted. So this week we're going to be looking at the word consideration.
Mm-hmm.
What is consideration and what does it require? And when you think of the word consideration, you often think of the word sacrifice. So we're going to have Reverend Benard read to us the scripture that we're going to be coming out of, and then we'll just talk a little bit about consideration.
And it's coming from the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 35, where it says, "It is more blessed to give than to receive."
It is more blessed to give.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty powerful, isn't it?
It is.
Than to receive. Love is not really love without a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And as Pastor taught us today about the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. And it was a gift.
It was a gift. It was a sacrificial gift.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a gift without giving. It was a gift that was not murder. It was a gift that was not suicide.
Mm-hmm.
It was a gift of his oneness. Our lives would be empty had not God provided us an example of sacrificial love.
Mm-hmm.
When he gave up Jesus Christ for us, he made the ultimate sacrifice on our behalf, also providing us with the example of the blessing we receive in giving. Receiving is where we as humans focus on what we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Each of us has about a measure of the prodigal son,
Mm-hmm.
the self-centered son, the perspective of give it to me and I want it now. Such focus can be related to the fear that unless I look after myself, no one else will.
Mm-hmm.
But embracing the gospel truth of God's sacrificial love can free us from such fear. It assures us that someone is looking out after me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's God. Such sacrificial love is often contagious.
It is.
But what does our sacrificial love look like in our marriages? It is to genuinely give consideration to another's ideals, feelings, and needs. We must be willing to lay aside what we want. Many times, I know many times we have asked each other how we want to spend that time in the afternoon together.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go for walks sometimes, hoping all that Reverend Benard will agree. But we realize that we don't always get what we want. We may not always get that walk in the afternoon. But then there are other ways that we do. We can sit outside and just converse one with another. That's not exactly what I like to do. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like to sweat. But Reverend Benard likes to sit outside and look at nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, sacrifice. Focusing on one another's needs requires sacrifice. But it can also be something where we can have that inexpressible joy. It gives God the opportunity to bring forth the greater blessing that comes when we give of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. The whole time we've been ministering, well, we've been building up to this very moment right here, where we want you to look at your whole life, everything you do, that your whole life is based in God, that God's in control of every aspect of your life.
Yes.
That way we can just relax, knowing that our needs are being met by the very God that we serve.
Yes.
So everything we do, everything that you are, is beholding, it's in God's hand.
Yes, it is.
That's why we die, because of stress. Because we try to hold the realms and not let go. But we realize what we are considering one another. What's in it for me? That's what the prodigal son was saying. What do I get out of it? And even sometimes in the back of our mind, even when we want to say to let our spouse enjoy, but in the back of our mind, we're still wanting our way.
Our way.
But we need to consider every aspect of our life.
That's right.
God is in control. Everything that we do is under the auspices of God's care.
Yes. When we give that consideration, it does not mean that I can't have my own ideas, my own feelings, and my own needs. But I know if we are allowing God to be in control of everything, then we know that God will look out after us and as we put our spouse's desire ahead of our own, then God can be trusted to take what you may desire or what I may desire and give it to us. Press it down. Shake it together and give it back to us. Overflowing. So when we hold tight, when we hold our hands in a fist place in our relationships, you can't get anything back with a closed fist.
Can't receive.
But when you open your hands with consideration for one another, then it overflows and you get everything and more in return. Reverend Benard is going to read our question for today. Then he's going to read the prayer.
In what ways can you lovingly consider your spouse's desires over your very own? What ways can you consider them?
I do want to share one thing with you before we end. When Reverend Benard and I first got married, we only vacationed in one state of the United States. And where we are right now, which is Florida, is where we, for the first at least 5 years of our marriage, I think we went from one end of Florida to the other end, from the northern end of Florida to the south, from the east to the west. And when we got ready to do our annual vacation, Reverend Benard asked me, "Where do you want to go?" And I know he wanted to come to Florida, but I said, "Can we please go someplace else other than Florida?" And we actually did. We went to the Smoky Mountains, and Reverend Benard fell in love with the Smoky Mountains. He took my consideration, my feelings into consideration.
Took a long time, didn't it?
It did.
I got there.
But he enjoyed it so much. And we've been back to the Smokies a few times. But that was so important to me. Because to be honest, I was just tired of Florida. But he considered and he sacrificed. And we enjoyed. Will you read the prayer?
I will. Lord, today grant me the openness to listen to my spouse, to consider his or her ideas, feelings, needs, and lovingly give myself.
When you give of yourself, when you truly consider, when you sacrifice, then you and I are living as God has taught us to consider the sacrificial lamb, to consider living as Jesus did. God bless you.
God keep you.
Is our prayer.